Hey guys, what's going on? It's Cody Steck. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to give you a breakdown of my favorite top 5 cities here along the Wasatch Front. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a controversy here, and you know, the things that I say here in this video are not going to pertain to everybody. They're going to be things that I like personally, you know, what I like to have in a home, what I think is good for most people out there. Some people will agree with this, some people will not, and there's a little bit of mixture here, right? We're going to be talking about some different cities. So we're going to go ahead and start off this list with number 5. But before we do that, make sure to get in touch with me if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate here in Utah, especially if you're moving here from out of state. I've helped people from all across the world relocate here, and I love it when you guys reach out. My information's here on the screen. Call, text, or email anytime. I'd love to hear from you. So with that said, let's jump into number 5 here on my list. So number 5 is going to be South Jordan. South Jordan is a fantastic city. It's located in the southwest quadrant of Salt Lake County, and South Jordan is known for having great schools. It's known for Daybreak, which is a very big master plan community, over a couple thousand acres at least, for the city of Daybreak. Well, I say it's city. It's going to be a city eventually. Daybreak, I'm sure, will break off at some point because it's so big, but it's actually technically part of South Jordan at this point. So it's known for great schools, low crime. Daybreak's obviously a big part of it, but it's also known for just having a really great atmosphere. It's very family friendly, and the median income in South Jordan is actually one of the highest for the Wasatch Front as far as a city is concerned. So usually they look at that data by zip code, but for this information here, we're talking about by the city. So South Jordan, very high per capita income. I think that's the right word, per capita, median income for family households there. So a lot of highly paid people, and this also means that, you know, it is a little bit more of expensive of an area. Single family homes, you're looking maybe 700, 800, 900,000 to be in this area. You can find really nice townhomes between 4 to 500,000, you know, maybe up to 600,000 for some of the really nice ones. And then condos, you're looking about 3 to 400 in this area. One of the best things about living in South Jordan is you can actually live here and, you know, move up a house, move down a house. You can make these different moves throughout your life and never have to leave the city limits. Maybe you want to get started with real estate. You're a younger individual. You could buy a condo there. Then you could upgrade to a home. You could upgrade to a bigger home that's a nicer home. Maybe it's $1 million house. And then you downsize, you know, once the kids are grown up and moved out. This is one of the great things about South Jordan is you can get a home of every single type within, you know, maybe a mile of each other, just because of the way that the city set up. So I think a lot of people actually do like that. That's something I think is pretty cool, because if you wanted to live in that city for your entire life, you could, and you'd have a wide variety of homes to choose from. So with that said, let's jump into number 4. Number 4 on our list here today is Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain. Now this area, Saratoga Springs, is actually an area that my wife and I considered moving to a couple years ago, but I do so much business up here in Salt Lake County that it just didn't make sense for us, because it would just be such a long drive to make, you know, on a daily basis. So this is actually an area we considered. The views are absolutely amazing. As I've always said in my videos, Saratoga Springs is one of the very few areas here along the Wasatch Front where, or even in the world really for that matter, where you can get city views, lake views, and mountain views all in one. So Saratoga Springs is really kind of a special place. Something that I love about that city is just the amazing views. That's something I finally, you know, find to be very appealing. And also home prices are, you know, relatively speaking, affordable, right? For what you get in that area for a brand new home with amazing views and a great neighborhood, you're probably looking somewhere between, you know, 6, 7, 800,000 for most single family homes. Not a lot of townhomes in that area. You can find them, but they're going to be, you know, somewhere between, let's say, 4 to 500,000. So a little bit cheaper than South Jordan, but you do get amazing views even though you are a little bit further out, and you will get a lot of new construction homes there as well. Eagle Mountain is also great. I would say that's a close second to Saratoga Springs, but oftentimes these kind of get grouped together, so that's why I threw them in there at the same time. Next up on our list, number 3 is Canyon Rim. Canyon Rim is a great neighborhood. It's located in East Mill Creek, and this is kind of a, you know, it's not necessarily a city, but it's actually a particular part of Mill Creek. So Mill Creek is actually split into 2 different districts, if you will. You've got Mill Creek proper, and then you've got East Mill Creek. So In East Mill Creek, you've got the neighborhood of Canyon Rim. Now, I specifically pointed out this neighborhood because as you drive through this neighborhood, you're going to see a lot of great houses. Most of them are built between the 50s, 60s, sometimes even the 70s, and they're all going to be roughly 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, Rambler style, kind of that older 1950s type house, and 1 to 2 car garages. The thing I love about this neighborhood is people are super friendly. Every time you drive through the neighborhood, people are waving at you, they're talking to you, they want to be your friend, they want to be your neighbor, and that just, I don't know what it is about the neighborhood, something in the air maybe that causes people to do that, but it just has a really good vibe. It's super close to all 3 canyons. So you've got Parley's Canyon, which is I-80, which takes you up to Park City. That's the closest one. And then just a little bit further south, you've got Big Cottonwood Canyon and then Little Cottonwood Canyon, which are only maybe 15, 20 minutes away. So super easy to get into the canyons, up into the mountains if that's what you're looking to do. And it's a great neighborhood. If you want something that's also close to downtown, I think this is an area worth considering because you're maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes outside of it, depending on how close you are to the freeway, but you get all of the benefits of, having access to downtown, but not living right in there. It's going to be a little bit cheaper. You're going to get a little bit newer of a house and a little bit bigger house. And I think that's going to be beneficial for most people. All right, the second city on our list, we're actually headed back to Utah County. The second city I want to talk about is Alpine, and I'm also going to include Highland in there as well because Highland is very similar. It's kind of just like a little brother to Alpine. So one of the things that I love about Alpine is it's tucked up into the hillside. It's tucked up in its own little area, and it's mostly residential here in this area. Now, Alpine is one of the most expensive areas here in Utah, so homes there are not going to be cheap. I mean, really, for a single family home, you're looking at the very minimum $800,000 to $900,000. Most houses are going to be in the low million range, but you've got a lot of houses that are 2, 3, 4, 5 million in this area as well, these big estates. But the thing I love about it is it's mostly residential. So there's not a lot of commercial properties in Alpine, and for what is there, it's mostly kind of just your day-to-day stuff, right? You might have a yoga studio or a gym or a grocery store or a gas station, but there's not going to be a lot of, these big commercial office buildings or anything like that. It's really a residential area, and that makes it very quiet, very quaint, and just has a really, really good feel to it. The other thing I love about this area is you get big houses and big lots. So if that's something you're looking for, if you want a little bit of space, you want some privacy, you want the big mature trees, you want to have a great place to live, Alpine should probably be on your list. If you're looking to spend, somewhere in that $1 to $1.5 million range, honestly, I think Alpine's got to be up there, at least in the top 3 areas to consider here along the Wasatch Front because it's such an amazing area. It's only about 10 to 15 minutes to the tech corridor in Lehigh. So that's something I think is a massive benefit to it. And overall, just a great place to live. I know that if I could afford it, I'd definitely buy a house there. It's one of my favorite places. Even though it's in Utah County, it'd be worth the commute to Salt Lake County to live in such an amazing place. That's why it takes up the number 2 spot here on our list. And last but not least, my favorite city here along the Wasatch Front is a city I actually live in. Of course, it has to be, right? That's why I live here. I'm going to say that Sandy and Draper, I'm going to include those 2 cities together because they're very close to each other, and you get a little bit of, the style of home that you're going to get is very similar between the 2 areas. So Sandy and Draper is my favorite city. That I grew up here in Sandy. I live here now, and it's one of my favorite areas in the entire, Salt Lake County and just even the Wasatch Front. I've lived all over the county in numerous different cities, and I ended up back here in Sandy because I love it so much. It's so close to the canyons. It's a great neighborhood. It's very residential, but it's easy to get to the freeway. It's easy to get to all of your daily amenities, and you get big houses and great property, right? You're going to get great property here. You get good sized lots, quarter acre. Most of the houses are built, 1960s. On the north end of Sandy, as you move further south into Draper, it gets newer and newer and bigger homes as well. So on the very north end, you're about 1960s, 1970s as you move south, then 1980s, 1990s, and then as you move into Draper, it gets into mostly the 2000s, right? You can find some exceptions to that, but mostly the 2000s there in Draper. And, one of the things I just love about these areas is you get great views of the valley, you get great views of the mountains. It's very easy to get into the mountains, and you just seem to get a lot of bang for your buck. So single family homes, in Sandy, depending on what part you're in, can be anywhere from 4, 5, 600,000 right now. A good median price that that I would say you should expect to pay for like a decent home is going to be about 800, maybe 900,000 for a really nice home in Sandy. Draper is going to be slightly more expensive, I'd say, to add on, you know, at least 100 to 150 grand on each of those things that we just talked about. So a great single family home in Draper is going to run you about $1 million, but you can find some nice single family homes there for, you know, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video breakdown of my top 5 favorite cities or areas here along the Wasatch Front. I want to know what your favorite area is. If you're researching Utah or if you already live here, make sure to drop a comment down below and make sure to reach out to me if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate here, especially if you're moving from out of state. That's my bread and butter. I help a ton of people relocate here, and I love hearing from you guys. So with that said, thanks for watching. We will catch you guys in the next one.